Today I'd like to go through this very simple yet extremely effective new filmmaking tool that I put together. It allows us to capture rigged shots like this one where it's connected to a drill or perhaps a jigsaw, so somewhat larger items that you'd like a new perspective on in the shot. This was something that I found by accident, so to say. It was hanging on the portable toolbar while I was editing the video and thinking of how I'd introduce this thing that we're about to build without giving it completely away. And it just so happened that everything fit together and it worked really nicely. And ever since then I've been using it quite a lot, so it might seem a little strange at first, but for me it's been working out quite nicely. Not just for holding camera gear, but also just to get lighting in places where it's usually quite difficult to mount things. So normally you'd rig stuff up with what we call a super clamp, or these smaller clamps that I personally do have. And I've personally never really found too much success with these because it's very difficult to rig them up on flat surfaces. And I always feel like they are too damaging to the environment, so to say, because they have that clamping pressure on one specific point and not like distributed over the entire surface, let's say. And most of the surfaces I encounter on location and in this environment are somewhat flat, so this is working out a little better. Now what I'm actually using seems kind of ridiculous, but it's actually just a monitor arm that I got off of Amazon. They're fairly cheap. They're also kind of heavy, so keep that in mind. It's mostly for like more rigged out camera systems. The nice thing about this is it's the exact same size as the pistol grip light stands that I used for the rolling B-roll system I showed a little while ago. So you can just connect those pistol grips to this and it's pretty solid, alongside that having some height adjustability, which is quite handy. The pistol grip that I personally recommend is this one from Ambitful, but you can also get this one from Godox, and the benefit of going for the Ambitful is that it has an extra mounting point, but the even bigger benefit for going for the Godox one is they come with this little plate which allows you to connect a ball head, and it's far more secure, so you can even mount a slider on this thing if you really wanted to. But as I said, you could also just use a spigot mount and attach a light to this, so if you have a shot that requires, for example, the Amaran 300C with a Spotlight SE to be hanging somewhere in a corner on a door frame, for example, you can just rig it up really easily. Now it's also possible to use the monitor arm's standard mount and just unscrew some things and attach a ball head to this. It's not as secure as the pistol grip system, so I'm definitely going to upgrade that because it can be a lot more secure. But the main benefit of that is it's way lighter, as those pistol grips are really heavy with their cast iron metal pieces. So this is how I used it in that jigsaw shot where I just needed some more maneuverability. So the clamp is also somewhat larger, and in the future I would like to 3D print some TPU pieces which clamp around it so it doesn't actually damage anything that it's connected to. At the moment I use like duct tape and just go around it so it makes like a nice soft shell and doesn't damage the stuff that's clamped onto. So there are of course some downsides to using this, mainly coming down to the weight. It is quite heavy, especially with those pistol grips on there. If you're connecting it to a completely flat surface on both sides, it should be fine. But when it's connected to something that's maybe a little more fluid, then you should definitely support it with your hand. When it's in its vertical position, it works very well. Attached it to rolling carts and that kind of stuff. And yeah, in general, I really like it. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, leave a comment, hopefully see you in the next one.